address during the school year. One thing as schools that we do, though, we do filter. You know, Owen talked about filtering and talked about at home and stuff. That is a protection that we're required to do from the federal government for certain things, but we do it because obviously when we're in schools, we want to protect our kids as best possible. Understand that even with our filters that are way more expensive than any filter you're going to buy at home, things happen. Kids get to inappropriate sites on accident. Inappropriate data comes through them. Our email filter, it happens. There is nothing that is 100%. These are the current or some of the current solutions that people have at home. You might have those already on your home computer. You might not. But these are, as Owen said, simply tools. But without the education to the kids in Glenview, or more specifically your kids, these tools all can be hacked. Every last one of them. Kids can find out the password that you put in there, not know it. My boss, his daughter, and I tell the story so he won't mind, but his daughter is a little more tech savvy. He took off iChat off her computer, and she was like, okay. She downloaded it again, put it on like a zip drive, and ran it off her zip drive so that he wouldn't know. Okay? Now he found out because he monitored some other tools or whatever, but she still was able to check. Kids are going to find ways around any system you make. These are keystroke programs. There's two different models. You can do blocking content or you can do keystroke. Keystroke is they can go to anything. You just monitor all the things that are typed on the computer so that afterwards you can say, okay, you were having an inappropriate conversation. Usually this is used for older kids. You trust them a little more, I guess. But once again, kids can get around this. We actually had a kid, just a short story, put keystroke program on our district computer in my last district to steal the password of the network person so that he could then hack through the filter. So kids are smart. I mean, this is a kid that you would never have thought. I mean, he's a good kid. He's now a senior in high school, going off to Northwestern next year. So it doesn't matter what kid it is. I still talk to him. Great guy, but he knew how to do this. Now we had ramifications for doing that, but we didn't find out for a long time that program was on there. These are some resources. This website or this whole presentation will be online, and I'll give it to Mark so that if you want to reference any of the data, it always changes. Andy and I will be working together to constantly update information on here. More references, but like Owen said, Andy said, and I said, in order to best protect a child, it needs to be a combination of involvement by the parent, involvement by the school district, involvement by the child taking ownership into that whole part of character counts.
So just quickly, we really can see how pervasive the issue is, and it's not just something that's in our schools. With this last topic, you can see that it affects children, it affects young adults, and it affects any of us who may have a page out there or have had a page created about us as we may be applying to a new job in the workforce. These are issues that we have to be ever vigilant about, and that's why we raise it today as our newest initiative for Character Counts, and we look forward to having all of your support to bring this not just into the schools, because we can see the passion that the schools have, not just into the community through the police department, because we can see the passion that law enforcement has, but through all of us. And I can tell you on a personal note, I take this very seriously and I'm passionate about it because I'm a parent and I've seen it. I've seen it in place. The concept that girl-on-girl bullying, not just in cyberspace, but in reality is something that we need to be ever vigilant about. I have daughters, and I've seen it. I've seen it in action. I've seen people on chat spaces in various websites, whether it's on AOL or whatever it might be, using it inappropriately to harass. And of course, there's the good side of it. Because don't forget, if we have a project, we want to go and clean up part of Lake Street, we can use that text messaging and that instantaneous cyber communication to get 50 volunteers out there in a heartbeat. And I've seen too where children have had a bad idea, and they were going to try to engage in something that could be considered bullying. And through that text messaging, because it was able to get out so quickly, I saw someone shut it down and say, this is not an idea, and I don't approve of it. And because she didn't approve of it, her friends finally backed off of it and said, we're not going to do it. So, you know, there's good in it as well, and that's what we need to get to. We need to get to the good. We need to educate from the very beginning, but have everybody understand and buy into this concept that cyber character is as important as character counts in our daily activities. So thank you everybody for coming. We appreciate your attendance.